Get off tour, please.
Hello and welcome to another Overwatch VOD review. Today we're going to take a look at some Zen gameplay down at the silver rank. This video is going to be kind of short as we're only seeing one half of this gameplay, but we're going to rewind now back to the beginning because this was the only spot I could find a nice quiet intro. Alright, we're right into it with some gameplay. Obviously, we can see in the top here that our Zen player here and his team were able to capture all 3 points on this map of Dorado.
Yeah, what's up?
And right now, we're kind of just poking as the enemy's team's coming out of spawn.
Sigma.
Okay, so I do see you calling out here in, or at least talking, so it looks like you're an open mic.
Back up.
So this is good.
Diva's automatic.
Okay, so that's your Moira talking right now. So I'm not sure if we're actually hearing your voice lines, but I imagine you're going to be calling out discorded targets. Okay, so positioning here is not too bad. You have a shield to your right, which is being provided by your Orisa, and you're focusing down flankers to assist your team. So this is good so far. Get that healing orb on any other critical targets. Primarily your squishies. Should be healing your Junkrat right now.
Back up, boys, back up.
Okay, so a lot going on. Probably put a healing orb on your Junkrat before he jumped over, just so he has more support. Okay. We can. Okay, let's take a look here. There's some things that we can do better. Unfortunately, I'm not hearing any callouts from you. I think that was just a recording issue, so I'm going to assume you're going to be calling at your discords because that's all good Zens do. But let's talk about positioning a little bit more. So you started up here with your Torb, and Torb's turret's doing a really good job of staying up here, and your team is playing really close and on cart, so it's going to be hard for the enemy team to take care of the turret and the Torb. So instead of dropping down here, you probably just could have gone over to this high ground on the left. That would allow you to stay on that high ground, be a difficult target for the enemy team to hit or collapse onto, while still providing a lot of healing and discord orbs on your team and the enemy team.
Back up.
So I do like that your Moira is kind of dictating the ebb and flow of the fights, but the enemy team right now is having a hard time just dealing with you guys as a whole, so your mistakes aren't being magnified at this time. So Orisa's antied right now, and you'll probably just want to move that healing orb off of her until she's not antied, just so you're getting the full value of Zen's healing, because it's not a lot, but it can keep your teammates up in most cases.
Back up, boys, back up.
So they just swapped to Pharah and Mercy. Not that you probably thought about it, but if you were to go to the high ground here, you'd be a really good target for the pharmacy. So playing underneath cover back at this corner underneath this bridge and this choke is a really good idea. Let's see if you stay there. So you do back up. So I do like this positioning at this point, but that's only because they now have a Pharah with the Mercy. Good job getting. So you probably could have put your discord on that Pharah as soon as you saw her. A little too much here, only because you knew the rest of their team were going to come around this corner here. Sorry for the pixelated look here. But that your Sigma won't really be able to provide a shield for too long or in the right spot to protect you from getting back. So you probably will die here. Luckily, your Moira is really good with her healing orbs. You almost died there though, so just keep that in mind. You can probably put your healing orb on your squishy DPS, just because
Oh, mercy, 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 mercy.
tanks have such a large health pool that it's just like not quite getting the best value out of Zen's healing. So you put your orbs on your healers and your DPS.
I
Let
got you, I got you, I
your
got you, we're good.
Moira or Ana
Two
or
for two, two for
Baptiste
two,
or
two for
Mercy heal the tanks.
Overconfidence is a flimsy shield.
Okay, so that far is really starting to hurt you guys. And I don't know if you have any counters for her right now other than your Moira. Get onto this high ground here, and then you can provide full coverage for your team. Use your ultimate, use your ultimate, use your ultimate, use your ultimate, use your ultimate. Okay. Okay, it's fine that you backed out of the ultimate just to make sure, but a Sigma ult can destroy any 200 HP character, especially if he gets even one round of volleys off of them. Now, your Orisa was already critical health when she was boosted up, and the rest of your team was pretty much up. So you and your Moira killed the Ana. So if you had used your ultimate to save your Orisa and heal the rest of your team back up, you would have been at an advantage for this fight. So you would have been a 5v4 instead of now a 4v4, and you're down your main tank. Don't forget, with Zen's ultimate, it's a really good rallying ultimate for your team. So usually when your team hears Zen ult go off, they're like, "Oh, we gotta go get healed by our Zen," or like just get in Zen's aura. And if you do that, your team will be able to group up and like take care of any out of position characters. So definitely use your ultimate during a Sigma ult if there are no other support ultimates going on. It's a little detailed, but just know if there's no other support ults going into Sigma ult, use yours. So now your team will get wiped here. Get a healing onto your Junkrat. Okay, so you need to, sorry, not your Junkrat, your Torb. So you do need to work on getting your orbs flickered out a little bit quicker. If you like watch some of the best Zen players, they're constantly rotating where their healing orb and Discord orb, well, not their Discord orbs, they're constantly changing where their healing orb is, because your goal is to kind of just like offer a buffer zone of HP to your team so that they don't die with like one shot from, you know, like a Sigma, for example. You could also use your ultimate here. That would have been a great idea, because you could have kept the pressure up. I really don't know what you're holding your ultimate for here. Swapped over to Rhine. I don't think that's a good idea because of the Pharah. Okay. Okay. Unfortunate from your Moira. 5 HP. That stuff. You could have used your ultimate there.
Yo, get off Torb, get off Torb.
What do they have? Okay.
Isn't doing much.
Okay. Let's look at what the enemy team comp has. So, as a support, you want to focus on when to use your ultimate. I think that's one of the most important things, especially at low ranks, right? People like to use their ultimates whenever they want, or they wait for that like really big game breaking play of the game moment. But if you look at the higher ranks, and I'm not talking like masters, grandmasters, I'm talking like plat and diamond. If you look at those players, they're not using their ultimates for like the big play of the game, like play of the game, the Zarya Hanzo combo, or you know, if you as Zen waiting to use your ultimate in a Zarya graph to keep your entire team alive. You need to be pacing out your ultimate for key counters. So for example, we talked about the Sigma ultimate. If he uses his ultimate, you use yours. if you see the far barrage, you use your ultimate. And that kind of comes with a little bit of game knowledge as you grow and get better. But you should be deciding ahead of time before you get your ultimate which ultimate is the strongest against my team, and then can my ultimate beat that one. So in the case of Sigma, yes, your ultimate will definitely beat his ultimate, so you want to use it then. However, if the Winston ults, he's just knocking people around. Your ultimate's not really going to do anything to that, so you don't want to use your ultimate on a primal rage. So those are the things you want to start to think about in your games, and you're going to see that your ultimate usage will get a lot better.
Get off Torb, please.
I'd put your As soon as you see a critical symbol on any of your teams, you want to focus. Okay, so your Sigma's like pretty much full health, so you're gonna want to move over your healing to your Rhine. And as soon as you see that critical symbol appear, yeah, put it on him, and then move it over to the Sigma. So you got kind of out of position here. The rest of your team was heading back towards your spawn here. So if you ever see yourself that like get even a few feet away from your team, like just start going in that direction, because your other support should be able to help you. And you could have used your ultimate here to keep you alive. Like that is a perfectly acceptable moment to just use your ultimate, because as Zenyatta, especially in like this current meta, staying alive is your key prerogative. So you dying, you provide 0 value to your team, whereas if you're alive and even though you don't have your ultimate, you're providing more value than if you were just dead. Finally use your ultimate. Put your Discord right on her immediately. Yep. Healing. Healing first. Okay, so we didn't get our healing out. I like this positioning. Nice. Healing on criticals. Might happen. You're a little too close as Zen. But you need to be moving that healing orb a little bit more here. Surprised he didn't just kill you. See, you already have your ultimate after like a minute and a half, I believe. So people, I think like a common misconception at low ranks is that Zenyatta doesn't get his ultimate very quick. If you're hitting your shots and you're doing your healing, like you can get your ultimate pretty fast, even at low ranks. I'd probably put your healing on that Junkrat up there. He was exposed. Yep, so they swap back over to Pharaoh. Discord orb before you shoot. Yep, good. Healing, 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 healing.
Yes. Again.
Okay. Let's go over some mechanics in-game and some positioning. Alright. Zenyatta positioning. You started off here, which was a really good idea, by the way. Not sure if you noticed this, but you can hit the enemy spawn as they come out those doors. So make sure you use that to get some extra ult charge off. And then your team was down here, so you can stay here. If the enemy team is hiding behind that red building from you, you can go here or you can go here. I wouldn't recommend going this far out just because that leaves you very exposed and your only way out is either backwards or to the right, which is even more exposed. So probably just recommend here. You can get a lot of good angles on the enemy team from here. If you need to drop down, which you will typically need to do, come down to here and just kind of like stay close to this wall. That'll help you keep any shots from like that building, this building, down there. Instead, the enemy team is going to have to come all the way like over here in order to see you, or maybe even right there. But you can play here if your team is set up like here. Then moving back. There's a couple spots you could be here as Zen. I'm going to probably recommend... I don't play Zen very often, but... honestly, the best spot for Zen to be here is going to be up on this platform. Being up here gives Zen a wide range of sights to call out enemy flankers. The only way anybody is going to be able to get to you is if they go around this way, or they come all the way around here. But by those times, you should be able to see where the enemy team is going. And then you can just simply drop down, go backwards if you need to, play around here until your team can group up with you. If you do need to get closer, play behind this statue or behind this cart. But other than that, don't get too involved with here because enemy flankers can see you from there, there, and there. Second point, the odds of you defending right out of the gate here, not very likely, but you did do it in your video. So you can stand right here. This will allow you to see here and here, while the enemy team will only really be able to, if they have a Widow or a Hanzo, they could get up there, but that's just up to you to keep an eye out on these things. Yeah, I don't really like holding here. I usually just recommend telling my team to hold here. This is a much easier position to defend just because you eliminate that high ground and you force the enemy team to either go up like this direction or go in front, which is typically what they end up doing anyway. If possible, so like let's say you wipe the enemy team and you're able to get a full reset, you can also take a couple seconds to go around and up to this high ground. I don't recommend staying here just because this is very exposed. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots, and your only way to retreat out of this is to either go through the chapel or go all the way around, which cuts you off from your team for a long time. Fun fact, if you did not know this, you can walk along these this panel here all the way to the high ground, but I do not recommend doing that while you're in the middle of a fight. If you die and you're coming back from second point spawn, you want to take some high ground if there is not a Pharah or a Widow. So just go out the right side, come up to the high ground, and by that point the cart should be somewhere along this road here. This is a really good spot for Zen, just because either the enemy team is going to have a sniper positioned like here or way back there. Very rarely will you see one there, but you have this wall to your right to cover you. But this allows you to be very hard to touch unless they have like a Winston or a Diva. But in any case, staying up here, you can provide healing onto your team, discords onto the enemy, and as you need to, you can just simply drop down as the cart comes around the corner. Or you can stay up there, but if the cart's over here, I don't recommend staying up there. I don't really use this side too often. I have seen some Zenyatas and other supports position themselves here. And this is a pretty safe spot. However, you make yourself kind of like far away from the cart in case you need to get on. So at lower ranks, I'll probably recommend, if you can't hold like here, to kind of just back up to here and allow your tanks to take most of the damage. You can also hide here if you feel strong enough, but this is a spot the enemy team can come behind you. Alright. Third point. If you are able to stop the cart before it gets to this gate, try to. Because once the cart gets past this gate, it cannot go backwards. So if you stop the cart here, before it touches the door, you know, it's just a better way for you guys to stall as a team. In any case, you can back up around this corner here and get some picks. But I think the best positioning for Zenyatta on this third area of the map is going to be up here. Like either here, or if the cart's underneath here, here. This will allow you to see enemies come this way, anyone trying to jump up here, but really no one on the other side of this bridge will be able to touch you from here unless they get like anywhere here. If this position gets compromised, you just fall back around this corner. Do not go backwards this way if the cart is moving forward. Instead, continue back this way, and hold like here, and then occasionally you'll peek around the corner here to get some extra discords or picks. Alright. That, I believe, takes care of the Zenyatta notes that I saw from you. If you like what you saw, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I do a VOD review every Monday, and if you're interested in getting one of your own VODs reviewed, check out our Discord link in the description, where you can find information on how to submit your VOD for review. My name is Scorch24, and we'll see you next time.